Fence lizard. Blends in good. I don't know how I missed that. That's a Carolina mantis egg sac. This is the one that was getting sent to Leo. Got chewed up by a mouse this winter. I was getting blown off of that, you know, so when I'd come out, I'd find it on the ground, you know. I figured it'd be safe right here, but you kind of see inside it's got all those little chambers. Each one has the larva in it. So that's what this video is going to be. Putting that egg sac in a jar. And basically it's just going to be a quick cut, you know, 2 quick cuts with a sawzall. Maybe put it on some kind of a base, maybe like a glue base or something, glued to the bottom of the jar, you know, so it'll be like a tree trunk running the length of the jar. That's kind of the general plan. See how it goes. In general, I like to put them normal, the way they're normally oriented. And this one's oriented on its side. So I'm just going to have this be the top and that be the bottom. Seen any tadpoles, so I don't know. Nice. The passion flower vines going all over. This is gonna be covered in passion flower vines. It's the back of the shack. Just some random water jugs. I had to spray poison in both of these. Some Raid to get rid of the mosquito larvae. Kind of created a little film and eventually killed the mosquito larvae just doing a spritzer on the surface. That was maybe like a month and a half ago. this is full. But this is the lowest corner of this whole setup. So anything that overflows from like this rainwater collection system drips from this lower corner into this. So this gets a lot of rain runoff, so it stays pretty well oxygenated, which is why it's not green. Those were always green. Those are usually algae. This is usually pretty clear because it's fresh water. I didn't do any treatments in this yet, but I'm not seeing any tadpoles. These are like tree frog tadpoles. To be making their eggs, climbing up here, to be making their eggs this high up, they gotta be tree frogs. Hopefully these ones make it, but I'm not seeing them. Never know. This is what I got. This is the jar it's going in. This was some liquid nails. So this is permanent. This is a nice gob. And I've already dry fitted it in the jar. It fits nice. I want to angle it to make sure that the thing is faced away. It's good contact. I like in that placement. So that's pretty much that right there. You know, it's got chemicals in it. Liquid nails, but I'm gonna leave it. This is Saturday. I'll probably send this out Monday. And throughout, so this is a canning jar. It's a canning jar for two reasons. One reason, it can actually be a lid for shipping. And then the other reason is it can be a vent for post shipping. Let's see. Let's do it on this side. This is some old screen. I don't want the screen too big, or else we won't be able to close the jar. The threading on the jar is, you know, not tight, but too tight for the screening. Yeah, that didn't work. Let's see. I don't got a marker on me. Rough cut. Oh, the screen had a bunch of excess. I won't be able to close the outer ring. That's the good thing about these canning jars. For shipping, kind of Go like this so it stays pressurized. And then after shipping, like for actual, just waiting for these things to hatch, just set that on. Or actually just shove it inside there. And it does a nice little, you know, it's nice and taut, you know, it's binding just on this very edge, you know. So you can push it through. If you push hard enough, it will go through, but it's not going to fall out on its own. And it'll keep the little babies in, and the other critters out. So I'm going to do up a shipping box next. But you can see that these are still closed, and I have found a baby praying mantis already yesterday. I found my first baby of the year, newborn. So these things are about to hatch, you know, like this thing is gonna pop open in a few days, possibly a few weeks. You know, you can see that those caps, that inner zigzag of white, is still solid. And that's where the actual larval chambers are, you know. Looks like some of them didn't make it, but it looks like most of them are doing pretty good. So these will hatch here in a week or so, you know. This is early June. This is maybe like the 5th. This is a Saturday, whatever. You know, like a 5th or 6th or 7th. That's a Saturday. That's this day. And it was yesterday that I found a baby over in Nashville. So these things are getting ready to pop out. You know, early June. If they're not out by early August, that is something's died in there. You know, like they should hatch within a few weeks, I'm thinking. I also got this. Job number 2 was apartment maintenance, and you know, the apartment community getting hot in the shack. Oh look, drying some herbs. Nah, those are the out of breath. The heat. Got this closed and that closed because I really don't do anything in here. This is the only thing I'm going to be doing in here. What do you call it? Part of the community would have cups, you know, labeled with a community name, you know, and they'd give them out, you know, I guess when you rent an apartment, you know, so you'd have a cup with a community logo or whatever. So this is from Cups, but holds these things nice. It's got 2. This is the egg sac for Leo, and this will be the iris for Vika. I'm gonna do a double, and then, you know, another double, like this one right here, this one right here, and then stack them, put them in a box, make a box, you know, that'll be the size for shipping. Wrap it with some paper towels. So just gotta keep 2 corners of this, and the rest will be kindling for the fire. And that this is just a scrap afterwards. I'm not too concerned about making it pretty. I didn't think I'd get around to it. That mantis egg sac must have been buried under some bark. I just recently exposed. And once it hits 80s, it gets hard to stay cool. Like 92 it looks like. And there's 0 breeze. Oh, and there's high humidity because it just rained real good yesterday. So I don't know what the humidity is, but it's probably about max. And it turns out inside an AC truck, AC van half the time, and then inside an AC restaurant the other half of the time. With a little bit of time up on the roofs, you know, like actually a lot of time, but just, you know, one day a week maybe is on roofs, and the rest is in the AC. That's nice. It does make it a shock. Oh, and then it's nice and cool down in the house. I was thinking about doing this down there, but I'm packing up food down there. I don't want to do this down there. Perfect. Easy and peasy. Go like so, and then like so. Yeah, I wanted to kind of alternate the corners, the sides, but it looks like I need to go like this just to keep things in alignment. Else she'll be a little zigzagged. I'm liking that. And then let's cut up some cardboard to fit. Easy peasy. 70 degrees and dry. It's nice. So got those tubs, you know. 2020 food preps, and these is 2021 food preps. Those 4 are full. Got some egg noodles and stuff. Started doing a lot of cake mixes in this one. You know, more sweet things, you know, like cake muffins, cakes and muffin mixes, pre-mixes, you know. And this is hopefully gonna be the last 4. Right here. I did a layer of these things. 5-pound bag of flour, like 3-pound or so bags of sugar, some coffees, some creamers, some oils, and I figured I'd start doing some of these things, drink mixes, So I got some drink mixes, you know, smaller ones, but kind of doing some, I'm gonna start doing bulk drink mixes, you know, because it's kind of like, got like plenty of water, you know, just filtering it, you know. So I got a water supply, but water, I'm not a fan of water. I like flavoring it, flavors. So I'm gonna start stocking those, because when it comes down to it, it's kind of just, you know, a higher quality of life having flavored water for me, you know, moral, you know, keeps me morally good, you know, morale up. This is kind of the bulk of it though. Putting this and, you know, those three, and filling up this one, you know, putting this stuff in it. So kind of general stocking procedures. This is beans, so I got a variety of beans, you know. In those I got like one of every kind, you know, but this is beans that I'll be using more or less, you know. I like garbanzo beans for hummus, you know, and then just you know, chickpeas, you know, like frying them with some, just some flavors, some lemon peppers, some tacos, some chilies, you know, seasonings, so, you know, could fry them up, dry, you know, roasting them, roasted chickpeas, you know, with a lot of salt. You know, little things of salt. Chickpeas I like, pinto beans for refried beans, black-eyed peas just for beans, you know. Peas, you know, they got a totally different flavor. Garbanzo beans and lentils. I like these orange lentils because I can see them, you know, so when if it does come down to harvesting, you know, I'll be able to see them easy, you know. Navy beans for going with like fish, you know, I like navy beans with fish. Tuna, or, you know, like some garden rotini. So these are the pastas, instant. So I got, you know, doing a few cereals, and here's like a cake mix right here that was on sale. You know, Funfetti Oreo cake and waffle mix. So I got a lot of, I've been doing a lot of cake mixes, because it's kind of like quick energy and it's sweet, so it keeps the morale up, you know. Sugary cereals, you know. Carbs, you know, egg noodles I like, because they got eggs in them, apparently, you know. So this is kind of just an oil and a salt, you know, for flavoring these. The garden rotinis are like a vinegar and salt and oil with maybe some navy beans, you know, to go in the garden rotini, along with whatever fish, you know, like I'm doing. If I catch a carp or some catfish, you know, but like more like a vinegary base with that, more of a salt base for these. You gotta have the mac and cheese. Yeah, these are a lot, you know, it's 15, 30, 45. 50 boxes of mac and cheese right there, you know. Some of it's creamy, thick and creamy, some of it's original. It's all generic, you know, but Great Value is actually pretty good, you know. And this is, you know, 10 boxes of garden rotini. Rice just as a side, you know, or like, you know, rice and beans, you know. What do you call that? Pinto fried bean, refried beans with some rice. I got 4 boxes of that. This is good. You know, some multi flavors. 2 chickens, 2 beefs, 2 shrimps, 3 chickens, 2 beefs, 2 shrimps, 12 packs. You know, because I don't really need to cook these. I can just do some water. It doesn't even have to be hot water. I can just rehydrate it and throw whatever in there. You know, it's just quick and easy. You know, it doesn't need cooking. Coffee, because it's like so rough without, might as well stock it and just have it as long as I can. That's pretty much it though. Kind of the general things I'm stocking for my foods, you know. It's carbs and fiber. I did a high fiber diet where I was just having fiber, beans for every meal, and then it just, your poop gets so thick that you can't fart, you know. It's just kind of, every fart gets blocked by poop, so it's kind of, you think you gotta poop, but it's just basically a fart with a little bit of poop, you know. So it's not worth doing a high fiber diet. So I've definitely cut back on the amount of beans to carbs, you know. It's gonna be a lot fewer beans to carbs ratio. You know, and this is for bread, you know. Like if I want to make flatbread pitas or pizzas or something, you know, or actual like hamburger buns, you know, you kind of need flour for making breads. But, you know, it'd be a hassle making pastas. So that's kind of why that. And then it's kind of like premixes, you know, like Oreo, you know, some of them are like cinnamon swirl, some of them are lemon muffin things, you know, like so many different flavor cake mixes. They're all like specialty flavors, so it's kind of like a nice treat, you know. But so this is kind of the general stocks though that I'll be doing for this year, for the 2021 season. You know, this is kind of wrap it up. I still want to stock more. So this is like sugar and salt to live off of. This is daily consumption, but I still want to stock more coffee because I didn't stock much coffee in my 2020 stock. So I'll be doing more coffee and creamer. I didn't do any creamer over there because it's kind of like creamer's not really a necessity. And I didn't do any real flavoring, water flavors either. Because this was more necessities right here, but kind of as far as actual use, you know, it would be nice to use this, you know, to have it, you know. So I'll be stocking more of these, coffee creamer, water flavors, you know, oil, more oil. The oil, when it goes rancid, I can just use for lighting, you know, or heating, you know, starting fires. But I also want to stock more vinegars. So kind of sugar and salt and vinegar I want to stock in bulk, you know, probably a tub of each, you know, just a tub of sugar, a tub of salt, a tub of vinegar, sugar, vinegar, salt for preserving, you know, like pickling things in vinegar, or, you know, doing jerkies and dried fish, you know, with the salt, or like jams and other like fruit preserves, you know, or you really need a high level of sugar. It's like half fruit, half sugar to keep it from going bad, you know, or it's like you need a ton of salt to make like bacon and stuff like that, you know, like it just takes a lot of salt, you know, or like, you know, doing like a ham, you know, like that takes a lot of sugar as well, you know. Pickles, you know, it's like it's a lot of liquid, you know. So I mean, you need so much salt, sugar, and vinegar for preserving. I'll be stocking up in bulk on those. But definitely a nice thing to do to cool off. Nice and almost like AC, you know. I guess the AC might be set for like 68 or something, you know. And for being out in the woods, off grid, it's unbeatable, you know. It's like start walking outside and you start sweating after a few steps, come down in here and it's like nice. Spent a couple hours down in the bunker packing up the foods. Good thing they got these boxes. This is a ramen box and another ramen box. So this is the plan right here. Got this, you know, 2 jars. That slipped into one ramen box. And then just sliding this ramen box over it like that. Perfect. Granted, this is just dry fit. Check the packaging. Yeah, I need to put the lily, the iris in the one jar, and I don't want to pack up the mantis just yet. So I'll be doing this final packing on Monday before shipping it. But this would be kind of the general plan, you know, give it some tapes. 2 ramen boxes and then some cup packing to hold them in place. And I'll do some paper towels as additional packing. Perfect. It's one of the cool big spiders, but he's just a little baby right now. maybe an inch diameter, but he'll get up to 3 inches diameter. He's got such small fangs right now, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, they're still really big fangs. Where is he? Oh, there he is. It's like 2 little watermelons for fangs. Oh, you can kind of see he's got the 2. Oh, there it goes. Some nice fangs. I like the colors on them. Cool colors. And they eat roaches. Roaches are at the bottom of the food pole. Probably why there's so many. So this is some weeds. Yeah, I'm sure you can eat it. It's not really poisonous, but you can't really digest it either. So what's the point? I guess you could, what do you call it? Juice it. People do like wheat juice or something. They juice wheatgrass. So you could juice it. This right here, broadleaf plantain. This is good. Yeah, it's a nice little, what do you call that? Exoskeleton from a grasshopper. Salad green. But oh, and these grasses might have a bulb. It doesn't look like it. Some grasses will do little tubers on their roots. That one doesn't. This is what I'm actually after. I'm just gonna pull this. I like having the plantain around, so I don't want to pull it, but it's right in the way, so I had to pull it. Plantain, because it's edible, which is why I like it. I think I probably spread a bunch of plantain seeds, but it's not actually what I'm going for. This is what I'm going for right here. This is a iris for Vika. So I guess this is a random video. Nice little baby tree hopper, leaf hopper. What do you call it? Presents, packing, and critters. So these ones are getting shunned. Oh, look at that nice little toady. You didn't even see him right there. He blended in so good. It's kind of hard to see right there. And there's a big one. He's just kind of chilling back there because it stays moist. Packing and prepping critters. I'm just gonna dig this up. It's rough giving a present to one person, one kid, but not the other. So this is just thinking of you, Vika. So I don't want to disturb it too much, but it's a shallow root bulb in there. This is just some low quality sand and silt that has literally just, this is what I like, look at that, a nice healthy worm right there. When I first got here, all the worms were sickly, like yellow, because they're just eating clay, but now they're starting to get some good food in them. This is all just runoff that's come down, you know, like I've dug this out with the shovel several times, but you know, when it rains, just the water flows, and this is just the sediment buildup. So it's a variety of things in this, but here's a jar. I'm gonna take this, pop it in the jar, kind of see. It's not centered. I'm gonna try centering it some more. And it's got some exposed roots and things done in there, so I'm gonna cover it with some moss. And then give it a bat. I'm gonna have to cut it. So you kind of see something eating it right there. But I'm gonna cut it with a pair of scissors, just lopping off this top so it'll actually fit in the jar, and I can put the lid on it and then send it, you know, ship it that way. You could do this, probably just wash off those roots and, you know, put that whole root bulb and leaves and like a damp paper towel in a Ziploc and ship that. That's probably the easiest way. But this way, you know, it's in a nice jar, so it kind of matches Leo's. And I'm thinking it might be like a good centerpiece of the table, you know, like here in a few days, kitchen table. If not, it doesn't mind. You know, like this, you don't want indirect sun. You want to keep it moist, so like the table has nice indirect sun on it. Same with the mantis egg sac. If you put one of these jars in a windowsill where it gets direct sun, it's just going to cook everything in there. It's just going to heat up, like from the greenhouse effect, get way too hot inside. So you want them in the shade, you know, and these actually just require a lot of moisture and shade, which is why they're actually living down here where it gets no light, you know. And these are probably actually going to die because it is so shady. This is probably too shady. But these will naturally grow in the streams where it's got just partial light, you know, where it's wet and it's got just barely any light. Kitchen table, maybe like a shaded windowsill that doesn't get much light would be a good spot for these. But with the mantis babies, you know, you want to check on them every day so that they don't get born and then just die, you know. So I'm gonna grab some moss for this. Moss. So I'm liking that. Granted, you know, like this thing hasn't bloomed yet. It may bloom this year, but it may not. But it is a perennial, so kind of move around in there. And like, you know, I don't know being an indoor plant if it'll completely die back, but if it does, you know, it'll die back and then re-sprout the next spring, you know, and kind of re-sprout in generally the same area, but a slightly different area. And it will need this kind of height, you know. This would be a good one for a bigger jar, but since it's kind of like a double ship, doing it both in the same jar, so this will have to stay like opened, you know, before the shipping. It'll be that. So I'm gonna got these air bubbles. I'm gonna hit it with some waters, kind of settle it, you know, shake it, settle it, get everything kind of situated in there. Pour out the excess and let it dry out a bit. So that's a little too much water. Basically, tadpoles, give them some minerals. Make sure they got all the nutrition that they need. Yeah, I was thinking about it. And it was a pretty heavy rain. So those ones, you see how these ones like to stay right at the very edge? Well, until I was doing that. That's probably what the ones in there were doing, staying right at the very top edge. And they probably got just washed out with the things. So this is just getting everything settled so there's no big air gaps. Granted, it would do it over time, but might as well do it now. I don't know, make sure everything gets a good initial watering, so nothing's too dry. That's looking good. Still a few bubbles, air pockets. but it looks more or less how it should. So there may be little bugs in here. Feed the tadpoles. Make sure they're happy. You never know with these things. So this is saturated, too wet for the iris, but short term, iris won't mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna put my hands in there. I was thinking about washing my hands in that, but I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna give this a cleaning, and I'm gonna leave it saturated like that, and just let it, you know, dry out on its own. I'm not gonna put this in the I got the mantis egg sac down in the so here's some passion flower vines. Did up this big it's kind of hard to see, big teepee, because there's passion flowers, passion flower vines, so they'll kind of be growing up off there. You know, there's a leg at each of those 3 locations, and then kind of letting them go up this rope on this side. That's why I'm keeping that closed, because now it's just going to be a passion flower enclosure. Yeah, I was getting rid of the mosquito larvae in here, just trying it out. It's wild onions of that. I'm going to leave this back here for today. Just let it air dry on its own. Any critters that are, because I don't want the humidity I don't want the humidity down there. You know, keep the humidity outside. And then all the bugs that are in here, any bugs that are in here, you know, they're little things. They can just kind of crawl out. It's out of the rain. And they won't be crawling out into the shack. So that's for you, Vika, though. That's Vika's. Vika's and Nada's. That's iris. Can't recall the specific variety. It's a wild iris. It's the Tennessee State flower, I want to say. Blue or purple. Very beautiful. Like one of the nicest looking flowers out there. Yeah. The rest of this video just be different clips of animals and things from last visit out. You know, I've been stocking food the last 2 visits, 2 or 3 visits, stocking food. So the little animal clips be the rest of this video.